Hello, 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 and welcome to our final day of the Lunchtime with Dr. Nadine series for the month of June. I'm really excited today because we have another special guest, another amazing woman, another wow woman, Ketty, who's with us. And so, as I introduce Ketty, drop in the chat your location. Let us know where in the world are you joining us from today. We would love to know who's having lunch with us. In the meantime, let me introduce you to Ketty. Ketty Bwambale, she is a speaker and value educator. She's dedicated to empowering women to recognize their inherent worth and also to overcome societal limitations. Her work with Bliss Femme and women Kisoboka, I might have butchered it, but she'll tell us a little more about that, is really uplifting women within the African culture and communities to help them transform their experiences. And so, Ketty, we are so excited to have you with us today. Just tell our viewers a little bit about you.
Thank you, Dr. Nadine, for giving me this opportunity to be here on this platform. Yes, my name is Ketty Bwambale. I'm married and I'm a mother of 4 children. I come from a humble and simple big family. Yes.
So, Ketty, you went through the runway to source, so you know that introducing yourself as a wife and mother, we do a lot more than that. And so we just wanted to shake it up. You're all right. You're in a safe space. There are ladies joining you from all over the world having lunch. They would like to know a little more about you than just you being a mom and a wife. And, so tell us a little more about yourself. In fact, let's start somewhere. Okay. So I had the opportunity of working with you in the speaker mentorship program. But I would love for our viewers, for our listeners, for the ladies who are joining us to know a little bit about what brought you into the speaker mentorship program.
Thank you, Dr. Nadine, again. I came to this program not because that I wanted to come to it, but I came to it for certain reasons. When I bought your book, The Pursuit of Purpose, I'll go back a little. When I saw your book on social media, you had posted it on Facebook, and I read The Pursuit of Purpose. This word alone disturbed me. I asked so many questions to myself. What does this mean? Because I had been following your postings, but not putting so much effort, like following you. But when you posted this particular book, that's when my mind woke up. And I remember I sent you a message on through Facebook, and I asked you, how can I get a copy?
Right.
And then you said, okay, you sent me the contacts, and then I bought a copy. I read the book. Immediately it came, I read it. I'm not so good in reading, but ask me. I asked my Lord, I said, God, give me a chance to read this book and see what it means by pursuing a purpose. The pursuit of a purpose? I had a tight schedule at my work, and I could go with the book in my bag. When I got a break, I could sit down and read the book. Within 2 weeks, I was done with the book. And through this book, actually, it disturbed me. And you remember, I sent you a message. Why did you write about me? That's what I asked you.
Yes, you did. You asked me that question. Why did you write about me? What is the purpose of this book? And so I'm reading your message, Ketty, And I'm thinking, Lord, what did I do? Immediately I thought maybe I did something wrong, and I'm
Yeah.
thinking, do I need to just pull my book out? Like, and so then I said, you know what, don't overthink this, because in the moment I thought, oh my goodness, what did I do? And so now I wrote you back and I said, can you explain to me what you mean when you ask me why did you write this book?
Yes, I remember you sending that message, and I saw that you were kind of worried. Because your book, when I read it, I saw my experience.
Mm-hmm.
The only difference was that for you, coming from a community where everyone considers education something,
Mm,
it was the only difference. But for me, I come from a community where education is nothing, and
mm,
especially for women,
mm,
especially for girl child.
mm-hmm,
When I grew up, education was not, actually was nothing
mm-hmm.
when I was young. So when I read your book, I got confused. I saw you were pursuing your purpose with so many degrees, you know, even to the point that your mom was emphasizing you to go for it. Go for it, my daughter, to achieve a good job. That's what your book was saying. And then I was like, oh. And then when I continued reading your book, I saw that it's only me and that can change myself, my life.
Mm,
I saw that no matter where you come from, no matter what people talk about you, it's only me.
mhm.
And I said, I'll go with this. Let me join this program.
Right. So before you got there, hey guys, shameless plug right now because I wasn't going to show it, but this is the book that she read that actually got her into the speaker mentorship program. And so, Ketty, you wrote me. You're
Mhm.
like, why are you writing about me? Why did you write this book?
Yes.
And you said, I remember your text said,
Mm.
I am disturbed. I have
Yes.
not slept in
Yes.
5 days after I
Yes.
read. Why didn't you sleep? Why couldn't you sleep?
Because at that moment, I was asking God, God, what do you have for me? Why did you create me to do?
Mm,
As a Christian woman who believes in the Bible, who reads the Bible, I know that God created me for something, like to do some work, to
mhm,
serve Him, you know. But
mhm.
then it was like I did not know, I did not see what exactly He wants me to do. So that's why I was confused. I was disturbed after reading your book. I sat down for 5 days. I couldn't sleep. I could wake up at night and sit down and write down some stuff and thinking of so many things like, God, what direction are you leading me? You know?
And then you reached out to me. Now I'm okay because I got my clarification that it's
Mhm,
because your spirit was disturbed. You asked the question, and so
mhm,
now we decide we're gonna get on a discovery call. We
mhm,
get on that call,
mhm,
and by the end of the call, we realize Ketty has something to say to the world.
mhm.
Ketty
Yes,
has a message.
you know, if I take you back to my story, I come from a rural place.
Mhm.
I know you may have listened to my story, which I just posted recently last month.
Yes.
I grew up in a place called Moena. Moena is a village found in Kisinga sub-county in Kasese district, Uganda. By the time I was a young girl, women were not considered like people who could do something of value. Actually, women were devalued by
Mm,
them.
mm,
And me, personally, because I come from a big family,
Mm-hmm.
my mother, my father never went to school.
Mm.
They, my father passed away. My mother is still alive, but
Mm-hmm.
my mother doesn't know how to read, doesn't know how to
Mm.
write. And so my siblings, my older siblings, are the same, most of them. Though they tried to go to school, but all of them they dropped out.
Mm-hmm.
And so my place, my community, let me say in Kano Kasese district, is known as one of the communities where girls get married at an early age.
Mm.
Actually, you can even find a girl at 12 years to get married,
Wow.
to be ready for having a family, you
Wow.
know. And then it happened that I was in the same trap.
Mm.
On my father's side, we are more than 10 siblings. As I
Mm-hmm.
yes, we are about 16 siblings.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But of course, I am among the youngest. Yes. But all of us, it's only me who has achieved a certain level of education.
Mm-hmm.
Not because that my parents took me to school, not because that opportunities were in plenty,
Mm-hmm.
but I think it is because of God.
Mm-hmm.
God had a purpose in me, and I don't know, and I'm still looking for that purpose. I'm
Actually,
still,
I already found it, but let's backtrack a little bit.
yes,
Education was not
okay,
a big thing in your community, and you grew up in Uganda.
Uganda.
And the difference between you said my story and yours is in the Western world where I grew up in the Caribbean, they pushed education as a thing. In
Mhm,
your community, it's not a thing,
mhm,
especially for women. In fact,
mhm,
it's not even something that's stressed upon much. So
mhm,
now you're young, girls get married around 12 years old. What
mhm.
was happening to you around that age? Because you were not in school. And so talk to us a little bit about that background there. What was it like for you? Like you went to school, so you have achieved some level of education right now. I believe you have a master's degree. And so
Yes.
talk to us about what happened. How did you even get there? So what was the inception like, or the background like for you? Because you're growing up in that community where girls are not going to school, maybe boys are not even going. So what happened? How did you even get into school?
Yeah, so if I look at the title of this interview, self-esteem. When I was in primary 7, when I completed primary 7 in 1992, my father said, there is no money to take you to high school.
But at what age did you go to school in the first place?
Oh, you know, I told you my mother, my father, they never went to school. They didn't know how to write. But what they tell me, that this year you are born. So when I calculated, I found out that I started school, primary school, when I was 12 years.
So you went to stage one,
Primary one.
primary one. We call it in some other parts of the world stage one. I
Yes.
think in the US, I'm not sure what grade that is, but it's the first grade that you actually go into school. You went
Yes.
there. So you went kind of like first, because it's not kindergarten, but you went into primary one, stage
Mhm.
one at the age of 12.
Yes.
Where I grew up, we went
Yes.
there at the age of 5.
You see?
And
And
so you went to school at 12. And
yes,
so what was that journey like for you going to primary one at 12?
you know, I don't know. When I started primary one, it wasn't it wasn't my parents' wish. It wasn't my choice. But I remember one of my older siblings who had tried school. is the one who came to talk to my father, persuading him that my father should allow us other children to join school. That was after the missionaries had come to the communities and started churches, and wherever they started a church, they could start a school. So my brother had started school. My brother, who was older by then, and he's the one who started to teach other children to learn how to read, how to write in our own language. So this brother, after persuading my father, then my father accepted. And we found out, we found ourselves going to school. Yes, not knowing even the use of a school. By the way, I can't tell you that I knew why I went to school, but we just found ourselves with my siblings in school. And then when I completed primary 7, not only I, who were many, but because of no money, others dropped out. Means even me, I had dropped out. And then I remember I insisted, I asked my father, said, me, I want to go to high school, because my teacher in primary 7 used to talk of high school. And then I could, in my mind, I had that, what is high school? How does it look like? Then I said, Daddy, I want to go to high school. And then my dad said, there's no money. You better get a hoe and go and dig. After you dig, then you'll cultivate your crops, sell them, and get some money. Then you go back to school. And then one of my brothers who had dropped out promised, he said, okay, for me, I will be working and I will pay your fees. Go to school. Well, I found myself repeating the class.
What age were you at that time?
At that time, I was a 19 actually, when I
Oh,
repeated class.
so you finished your primary school education at 19,
19.
desiring to go to high school, and now your brother promises is going to help you. Okay.
Yes. And then I started on the way going on. Did my brother provided what he promised? It was, you know, so I found myself dropping out. I mean, not dropping out at this time. I found myself getting engaged. That's when I got my husband. While
Okay.
I was in primary 7, that is the second year, because I had dropped, my brother promised. Now on the journey, believing that my brother will help me, things got stuck. Before I dropped again, then my husband came in. What most people now call boyfriends. So I think I got a boyfriend, but it wasn't the way we have people call it today. My husband just came purposely to marry me.
Right.
And he told my parents, he said, I'm going to put her in school. The whole community was confused.
Wow.
Yes, they were confused. You are marrying and you are going to put the wife in school? How come? In fact, it was like a miracle to my family, to my husband's family, to the community. Now, guess what? My husband, at that time, he had a degree. Now he's coming to marry a primary 7 girl, and he's promising to go and put her in school. So I found myself accepting, even not knowing what I was going to do. Just for it was the second term in primary 7. When I completed primary 7, I did my exams. Then normally we used to do exams in November, end of the year. Then April, then following year, we got married. And when we got married on April 28th, the following week, June 6th, May 6th, I was in class high school. That's why those who listen to my story, what many people go for after wedding, they go for honeymoon.
Right.
Enjoy life. For
Yes.
me, my honeymoon was in class. I
Right.
was busy writing books and thinking of passing or failing.
What a
Because
beautiful honeymoon.
you know what? You are now a wife
Mm.
who is having so many responsibilities. You are a student. And within 2 months, I became pregnant.
Mm.
And I believe most women, you know how you feel when you are pregnant. Sleepy, sleepy, all those problems. But I am in class. I cannot give up.
Mm-hmm. That's
Yeah,
beautiful. And so I'm excited because I think
yes,
so many people could be empowered by your story because you started late, but you didn't stop. You continued. And now you're in the
yes.
speaker mentorship program. This is your backstory. I love listening to your backstory. I like the fact that you found your voice
Oh,
because
yes.
from your background and you feeling, oh my goodness, I cannot sleep. This woman's book disturbed me. You're now in the speaker program. What was that journey like for you?
When I joined the speaker program, actually, I was still asking so many questions. What am I entering? Because I did not know how it looks like. And then when you started explaining it to us, like, what do you want to do? What is that one thing in your mind that disturbs you, that you feel like you want to do, but you cannot do? That's when my brain woke up again.
Mm.
And why? Because after I completed high school, as I mentioned, I I was a mother. When I completed my high school 4 years, my baby was also 3 years. And
Mhm.
then I had other children. And then with my husband, we served for some good years, and God made a miracle for us. My husband, to make it worse, it happened that I married someone whom God wanted to use to be
Mm.
his servant. My husband is a pastor.
Mhm.
Yes, I know most people who are listening to me, they know me, they know him. And I found myself moving with my husband in the field, working for God, you know. And at some point, I could see that women were believing in me, trying to see, to lift me, like not lifting me in, how do I say? I mean, for them thinking that I know more because I completed high school. At times,
Mm.
yes. At times, I could find them asking me, you can help us here. Then, of course, I could say no. Remember, where I come from, women had no say. Even if you are a pastor's wife, sometimes you will feel like, what can I say? I'm a woman. That low esteem affect so many of us women. And
Mhm.
then I could feel like, I can't do anything. But then God made a miracle. He gave the church gave my husband scholarship to go and study in the Philippines. That's when I discovered that I could do more.
Amen. That's beautiful. That's really amazing. I cannot believe time is just going by so quickly. You
Because
know,
I'm coming to why he said why brought me to the program.
yes.
And
So
then when I reached in the Philippines, I found so many people. I had my fourth son. My son actually have one son and three daughters. So my son was 4 months by the time we reached Philippines.
mhm.
And I got people. I remember Dr. Mutavali Kasereka from DRC, from Congo, and Dr. Flores from Nigeria. They told me they could come to me and tell me, Ketty, you have to leave this baby here and go to class. By the time you leave Philippines, you should have a degree. It was like a dream to me. And then I did. I asked God, and I found everything was just like as I think as how God wanted them to be, you know. But then joining this program, it is because I had discovered something while I was in the Philippines. And then after Philippines, I went back home with my degrees. But then when I went back home, I was somehow being pushed back to my old situation of a woman not having value.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And while the same women in my communities, for them, they saw me like someone who is inspiring them. Actually, most women, the poor people, the common people, they said, "Oh, you have achieved this," and they looked at me like someone. And I said, "God, you really, God, people can see me like I can do something." But the people I believed that they would be up, I mean, they would appreciate me. They are the people who wanted again to push me back. And I said, God, show me. So when I read your book, I said, oh God, there are other people who don't want you to step up, while there are others who want you to step up.
Yes, Ketty. So that is like an amazing story. Time is
Yeah.
going by. We only have like literally like about 3 minutes left. And so, if you could tell us in about 30 seconds, what was the biggest breakthrough you got in the program? And then we're going to take what how people could reach you and stuff like that. But it's beautiful to hear your story, and I'm sure we could always get a lot more of it. But like what was your biggest breakthrough in the program? Like briefly, what would you say was your biggest breakthrough?
My biggest breakthrough in this program is that I have got a status through Dr. Nadine's coaching. I have got a status that will help me to stand out and speak on behalf of the voiceless.
Okay.
That is one.
Mm-hmm.
Two, I have discovered that uh, when you pray to God
Mm-hmm.
and claim his promises, and then you put in action, God will give you what you want.
Hmm.
Yes. And I have discovered another thing, that all of us, we were created with great value,
Mm-hmm.
regardless of where we come from, regardless of where we were born, whether you were born in a city or in a remote village. We are all created with great value, and we have to claim God's promises to show us our values so that
Mm-hmm.
we can serve him better and be able to manage our families, because we received those families by God.
Amen. I
Yes.
love it. And so, if people are wanting to reach out to you because your focus is really on helping women to understand their value, and
Mhm,
I believe based on your background
mhm,
from growing up in Uganda
mhm,
and the way education was put down and just women being suppressed in general, persons who come from cultures that are like kind of aligned with that may very well be the women that you want to be talking to, and
mhm,
even women within the Western culture. Some of us would have also maybe been in some families or societies, maybe subcultures that would also make women feel a little devalued. And
mhm,
I think of even our church and the way sometimes that we deal with women.
mhm,
And I know things are changing, but there's still so much more work that we can do. And I believe that God has called you for such a time as this to help women know their value, find, just understand like they need to esteem themselves, because that's your journey, that's your story. You esteemed yourself, you pushed, you thank God you got a husband, or husband found you the prize and was
mhm,
able to say, I am going to not allow my wife to be like everybody else, but I will invest and let her get an education so she can be her best self. And I know he supports you even through the speaker program and the work that you're doing now. So that's exciting.
Oh,
But where
yes.
can people find you so you can share more of that message and really pour into women? Where can they find you?
Yes, anyone who wants to reach out to me, I have the email, kwambale.value.wortheducator@gmail.com.
Awesome. So we have it there on the screen. Take a screenshot, write it down real quick because you want to get this lady to come talk. I mean, I'm sure you were as interested as I was in the story, but for time, just having to just kind of abridge things because there is so much to learn about Ketty, her background, her story, and more so her message. I recently was in Uganda and I learned a lot about the culture. And even though things have progressed, there's still work to do. And so I'm excited, Ketty, as we wind down. If you had one thing to say to a woman who's listening right now, you came through the speaker program, now you're in the front. You didn't even visualize yourself being there, but you're here. What would you say to that woman who is thinking, I know maybe there's a message I need to share with the world, but I'm not sure what to do? And you've been through the speaker program, what would you say to her?
Okay, before I say this to you, the one who is here, one thing I will want you to look at is that you may feel like that, oh, you may think that maybe Kate, it is because Katie married someone who had a degree and then he got a chance to go to the Philippines. That's where Kate got a chance. I will say no. Every one of us has opportunities around. And please grab any opportunity that is around you. Not going to the Philippines, not going to America, not going to UK, not going wherever, even where you are. Any opportunity that you have that comes your way, grab it. And that is one step that will take you to another level, like Ketty, how she did it.
Awesome.
Okay. And now, I just want to tell you, the woman who is here today, to join the program of speakership with Dr. Nadine. It is a good program. It will help you to discover yourself. It will help you to know exactly why you were created and why God wants you to serve him. Through this program, as you go with Dr. Nadine, you will see that really there is a lot in the world that needs you. And so you need to be empowered through this program so that you get the knowledge that you will go and use wherever God will send you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ketty. It was a pleasure working with you. I am so excited for what God has started in you. I'm happy that you've just given yourself, even though you know you may have your fears, but you're using your voice, you're being vulnerable, sharing your story. And viewers, we are so excited that you joined us all week for this segment or series of Lunchtime with Dr. Nadine and all of the ladies that we featured this week. We look forward to seeing you in the future when we host another group of amazing women like Ketty who are making the difference in the world. And it's your time to make your difference. Ketty told you about this book. If you don't have it yet, reach out to us, get your copy. We want to disturb your world because we want to get you doing what you're supposed to do. Again,
Yes.
Ketty, thank you so much. Viewers, God bless you all. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.